Hey everybody. Yeah, happy Monday after Independence Day. We'll wait until I see a few faces come on here and then we'll try to kick the show off. The elusive, excuse me. The elusive one may or may not join me tonight, so I'll wait and see till we get a few viewers in there. Here we got one. Do the old usual when you come on tonight. Let me know who's here. And sorry about that. I think it's, not sure who's tuned in here. Got a few people popping up here. Oh, Randy Lincoln, glad to see you. There's Jack Preston. I know where Jack is. It's probably just as hot up there where you are as where I am. Randy, where are you in Pennsylvania tonight? Kind of let me know that part of it. Got another viewer, listener, or whatever in here. I hope everybody had a good Independence Day. Had a good Independence Day celebration. I know myself and Jack was there as well. We had a really good weekend. Our employer, I'm going to plug them right here, right now, Evans Cattle Company in New Carlisle, Ohio. They put on one heck of a deal for us as employees in the local community over the weekend and what have you. So we had a really good time. Put on a pretty good feed. Had some pretty good music by some second-rate entertainer by the name of Tony Justice with his band. Now, there is sarcasm in that. I'm glad Tony was able to get out. It's the first time he's done a show since October. So, of course, we followed all the wonderful government ordered, we'll just use that term very loosely, government ordered mandates and everything else like that. But had an absolutely wonderful time, and he also sponsored one heck of a fireworks show for those of us that were there, and the local community had heard there was somewhere in the neighborhood of about 1,000 people or so. 500 to 1,000 people kind of scattered throughout the property around. People could see everything from about 6 miles away, so hopefully wherever y'all were, you were able to see some fireworks from wherever you were, and they weren't aimed at you. So have fun up there in Brookville, PA, up there on 80 there, Randy. There's Josh Howard. I'm sure he's out, probably out west. I'd seen that he had broke down in Laredo, El Paso. Hopefully you got yourself back up and going again, Josh Voorhees. So neighbor from in town there. I was hoping, and there's Danny Paxton. He's showing his ass right now. I mean, not as well anyway. Kind of had to have a good time with that one there. Welcome you guys all to the show tonight. I trust y'all had a really good Independence Day cookout. Probably spilled a few brews down and everything else like that. You know, that's what America's all about. Let's have us a good time and live life to the fullest. You know, you only live once, so need to get around. I do know there's some severe weather out on the East Coast tonight. I'd seen a weather report here earlier, so if anybody's venturing down here, Baltimore on up to the Philly area, there was supposed to be some pretty rough stuff, and I'd heard that through west central Ohio there was some pretty nasty stuff with some hail and what have you right along the I-70 corridor there near Dayton, Ohio as well, come rolling through there. Well, there's Robert Green. I know he was in the weed patch this morning too, doing his part to keep the old, trying to keep the beef rolling out there. But anyway, enough of that. We've got a few people tuned in here, so we'll try to act like we know what we're doing and act like we care. Not that I don't care, but I do, but I don't. Dippity-doo-dah-day. I know it's been hotter than Hades here the last week or so, so hopefully everybody's equipment's hanging in there for them on the road and not running into them dreaded tire monsters or anything else. So anyway, I think I'm going to kick it off with talking about what Independence Day means to me, especially in this jacked up world that we live in today with, in my opinion, a lot of overreaches and everything else. But my opinion of being a veteran also, independence, what the cost of it is and everything else too. So, I was thinking about this today a little bit, that, the true meaning of independence is being free from overbearing and overreaching individuals, and allowing you the freedom to move around and within reason, out of respect to your neighbors and everything else. Freedom of religion is a big one as well. Not freedom from, but freedom of. If you want to worship, you can, but also independent to, as long as you're not disrespecting other people and your actions. That's what true independence kind of is to me. When you can be free thinking and pursue the things that you want to do, and you're not stuck with being forced down your throat exactly how you're going to live, where you're going to live, if you're going to live, and what you're going to do to live. So kind of sums it all up and everything like that. I know our forefathers, not only here, I see we've got one of our viewers listeners from Australia too. In Australia, a lot like the United States, they free thinking, freewheeling. Let's just go out and live life and be respectful when we're doing it. So it's kind of what it means to me, I guess, is a good way to put it. Yeah. Blake Ansball, thanks for tuning in there. Melissa Hatfield, it's hotter than hell in Oklahoma. Well, I do know, I was talking to somebody earlier today that down in that neck of the woods there in the Texas Panhandle, I think it was supposed to be 105 or something like that today. So it's not much cooler out here on the East Coast where I'm at right now. So, but anyway, and independence, it's truly not given, but it's earned. As many of you know, I mean, nothing's given to you of any kind of anything that has any meaning to it is never ever given. It's actually earned. If you want to remain free, you've got to earn it and keep it. You got to protect that freedom, or it will be taken away from you. Our forefathers left Europe, the European continent, to escape tyranny and overreaching governments and everything else. Started out as freedom of religion, and then, when the framers of our Constitution, or the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, they had to have been some pretty genius people to come up with what they wanted, because it's still pretty relevant. As you all know, the Constitution was written actually to protect us from the government, not to protect the government from us. It's a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. We need to remember that, regardless of political persuasion or anything else like that. We need to, if we're going to enjoy independence, we need to keep that in mind. And it's, people are free to protest all they want to, but when you step across the line and start doing rioting, and it's anarchy and just absolute mayhem in the streets, that's not independence, and it might be time to stop some of that. I know I talked to several law enforcement individuals on Saturday. Hopefully any of y'all that are out there and you run across any law enforcement, you take the time to thank them for what they're doing and everything that they're dealing with out there on the roadways and everything else. It was a very interesting conversation. I let them know, hey, as truck drivers, even though we're kind of the independent type, we still have to conform to what's going on, rules, regulations, everything else, but we've got to be respectful at the same time. But I did tell this particular deputy, I said, those of us in the transportation industry that have been out here for a long time, we've got their back. We may not agree with the way that some of these law enforcement officers kind of step across the line. We firsthand as truck drivers in the transportation industry actually know what it's like to be discriminated against, because we have our own law enforcement. The highway patrol can stop us for no reason whatsoever, just for being out on the roads. Usually a lot of guys have earned it getting pulled over. I'm not saying that they haven't, but still, just random roadside, we're going to pull you over because you're in a commercial vehicle. Not to mention, you deal with a lot of these people that have prejudice against us as truck drivers. Every time we touch a dock or or whatever. Thank goodness I'm in the world I'm in now, running livestock. It's a different world altogether. We just kind of back up, do our thing, and away we go. But I know when I bumped docks back in the day, you just dreaded going into some places because they had ultimate power, ultimate rule, and everything else. So not treating people with any kind of respect, and just because we're in a big truck, they think that we're second class citizens or whatever. Well, little do they realize that one of the reasons we're still able to kind of keep pursuing things we are was because it started out in the transportation industry here a few months back when all the food, the toilet paper, and everything else, was in short supply. We laid it all on the line, and we're still out here doing it all the time. So hats off to everybody out here that's helped. It kept rolling during the entire shutdown, as well as the people that were working in the manufacturing plants to try to get stuff out the doors, to make sure that the goods were there for us to get them on down the road to the distribution centers, the grocery stores, and everything else. I mean, it's turned into a pretty serious, undertaking, just kind of keep things on, getting things recovered, I guess is a good way to put it. So, now Robert Greene put on your 4th of July it is respecting what makes this country great and our ability to choose. That's spot on, Robert. Thank you. Yeah, and Jack Preston, I agree with you 100%. People in Washington do need to remember what we talked about. So, anyway, man, they're still bugging me from work. I wish they'd just leave me be. Jack knows what I'm talking about right there. Push and pull. Robert Greene also, we were just talking about keeping the supply chain full. He's out of Cargill he was out in Kansas, Dodge City, at Cargill out there at one of the meat processing facilities. They were running 4 to 6 days behind even, and I guess that was from last week because he showed up today to pick up a load that was supposed to have been ready 4 days ago, thanks to some very poor planning, I think is a good way to put it there, Robert. It's not your fault, just like it isn't usually our fault by the time we get somewhere to pick something up. So, hats off to y'all for dealing with everything else, and go sit in a corner and pout. It's kind of the attitude that they give us, some of these shippers. But, they were begging for trucks 3 or 4 months ago here when nothing was going on. But, thankfully there's some sense of normalcy getting back. I know states are going back through this wave of shutdowns, open up, we're going to take back some of our freedoms and things like that. So I guess we've just got to kind of roll with it. I'm not going to get into my opinion on some of the other things because I don't want to alienate anybody. Plus, I want to be respectful of our sponsors. They have to play by the games. Davy Crockett Travel Center down in Blytheville, Tennessee, there at exit 36 on I-81. They've stuck in here with us ever since we started this deal about a year ago. So you get a chance, stop in and see them down there. Tell them Chrome and Steel sent you. They got the Papa John's down there for those of you that haven't been there. They got the Blue Plate Diner, which is outdoor seating, outdoor dining pleasure, which I don't think that's what I'd want to be doing right now. I know how bad it was when I picked up supper tonight up here where I'm at. But, it is what it is. At least you're not cooped up wearing a mask waiting on your food. Most places have kind of allowed some flexibility. And then, of course, everybody's favorite, the Double D, Dunkin' Donuts. They've got one of those down there in a full-service shop. So stop in down there at Papa John's. That's an independently owned franchise TA down there. So they're a proud sponsor of ours, everything like that. So got to tell them thanks. Yeah. Also, for those of you out there looking for freight, if you've never dealt with them, look up Right Load, RITE load.com. It's not your normal load board. They only charge $27 a load. If you book something through them, you get set up as a carrier. It's kind of cutting the middleman out instead of, for independents, it's working out pretty good. I know some guys have gotten themselves out of some jams. Robert Greene being one of them. He was out west somewhere, couldn't find anything, and within a few hours he'd booked himself a load through Right Load and got him out of the mess that he was in. So keep that in mind there, Robert. Matthew Kane, he's really doing a good job. He's out, I think they're out in the Willow Grove, Philadelphia area. If you're ever out in that area, look them up and stop in. I know during the shutdowns and stuff like that, they were allowed to park some trucks in on his property. And here lately, he had been doing some drive-in theater type of stuff. So, giving back to the community a little bit, drive-in, cars were coming in, parking, watching the movie and having a good old time. So, got to thank him for what he's doing with that deal. But anyway, who's got another topic they want me to bring up here? We'll see. In fact, if Paul Marhofer, are you sitting still or are you driving? Give me a comment on what you're doing. I see Paul Marhofer's tuned in right now. I might bring him on if he wants to. If not, everybody will be stuck with good old Robert Green here in a minute. So if I figure out what Paul's doing, I know he's tuned in. I'd like to bring him on for a minute. He was some entertainment at my son's graduation party, who did not join me tonight, the elusive one. I'm beginning to think he doesn't exist. Kind of like Jack there at Jack's Chrome Shop. I don't think he exists either. But Paul showed up. We had a graduation party for my son and had a pretty good turnout. And Paul came out. And those of you that like some good outlaw-style country music, check out Paul Marhofer. You can look him up on Facebook, Long Haul Paul, as well as YouTube. If you like your own twist of music, Paul is the guy to go to. Super talented, very down-to-earth guy. For those of you that don't know who he is, give him a like and start following him on Facebook, Long Haul Paul. So I guess Paul is not going to comment. He's not going to comment on if he's sitting stationary or not. So, okay, Paul, I'm going to bring you on right now. Get your camera ready. You said thank you, brother. Oh, Robert commented. He actually got out of El Paso, Texas. That's when he was in a jam, and that's what got him out of El Paso. Was a right load where he booked a load out of. So, Robert, you're driving. Who else wants to come on here right now? I could, trying to figure out who could bring somebody. Now, I don't want to do that. I thought I had a guest on tonight, but I shouldn't say a guest. I should say my co-host. I think he's pretty wiped out. They baled hay yesterday in that wonderful heat. I know there's a few of you that are tuned in here right now. In your younger days, we threw a few bales of hay. It's good to see that the young men of this country are still willing to do that too. Nothing I want to do anymore, but I have been known to do it. I was at a farm out in Pennsylvania here not too long ago, and guy was dropping bales onto his feeder to blow wet hay up in the way that they store it. I'll tell you what, I didn't realize I was as old or as out of shape as I was. So that, dig the farm picture. I didn't even realize what was in the back of me. Thanks a lot for pointing that one out. So much for me paying attention to my background here. I'm actually holed up tonight in one of my favorite hotels. They treat me pretty good, so I try to frequent it. I just wish more restaurants were open out here where I'm at. Unfortunately, I don't think my favorite one here in town is going to open back up after this whole thing. So anyway, that's about all the old man has got for tonight. Since I didn't have any guests, just thought I'd do kind of a quick post-Independence Day rundown. Those of you that had high school graduates this year, congratulations to you, as well as anybody who ends up tuning into this thing later. Congratulations to your youth, and welcome to being an adult and getting thrown into the adult world out here. So welcome to that world there. Youngins, sorry we're leaving you in this mess that we are, but it is what it is. Completely out of our control. So anyway, hopefully I can get Tyler to come on with me before he goes off to college here this fall. Might lead into some pretty interesting stories once he does go to college. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. So anyway, I'm going to drop on off of here. Just figured I'd do a quick live real quick. Y'all have a safe evening out there, dodging the raindrops and the severe weather. Hopefully everything stays safe with you. The rates hopefully are starting to come back up for some of you. I know it's kind of a pain in the butt sometimes, but everybody stay safe out there, and we will see you next week. Thanks a lot, and have a good evening.